Okay, this is episode 1 of Ecclesia. It's a little podcast I'm doing, a little bootleg one. It's about as punk rock as you can get with my high dollar. This leopard or cheetah, whatever. I don't even know what kind of animal it is, but I killed it. I skinned it. That's its skin in the background. That's my background. Not really. It's a blanket that I got at one of the little flea market stands. 2 for $20. They don't even cover your whole body. They're really comfy, but they don't cover your whole body. So that's what I did. That's my background. That's my setup. That's what I do. I don't hold back. I just whatever it takes to get this project going. I'm a spender. That's what I do. I spend. I don't hold on to it. It's gonna burn a hole in my pocket. It just there it goes. It's out. That's why I got all the blingage. Tattoos. Most of them are done in alleys. No, not really. A lot of really good guys did some work on my hands. But anyways, no. This is just a podcast threw together. Just something fun to talk about the Word of God and from my perspective, since it's my podcast. And I'm not saying I know everything. I just want to share. I want to share. I'm a giver, like I said. I don't just spend. I give. I give. I give to you. I give to you. That's what I do. There's a lot of stuff I do. A lot of stuff I do that I shouldn't do. That's just being honest. No, sorry about that. Bring it back. No, today I was reading in my devotion about Matthew, and what it was, a lot of people get the devotions really heady, really deep. Where you at in your theology. This is the book of Matthew, first book in the New Testament. It was widely used after Christ died. Written by Matthew, hence the name Matthew. Authored by him, anyways. I don't know who actually physically wrote it, penned it. They're really big on scribes. I think I would have been a scribe had it been back then. Not really. I talk way too much. But anyways, I was reading Matthew 9:9, and let me just break that out for you real quick. Matthew 9:9 out of the ESV. Yeah, that's a Giants hat right there. The passage says, as Jesus passed on from there, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax booth. And he said to him, follow me. And he rose and followed him. And as Jesus reclined at the table in the house, behold, many tax collectors and sinners came and were reclining with Jesus and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? But when he heard it, he said, those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice, for I came not to call the righteous, but sinners. Bang, right there. He doesn't want the pretty people. It's not really what he's saying right there. He's talking about just our need. We're a broken people, and I really like what I like about Matthew 9:9 is this is the book of Matthew, and it's talking about Matthew's call. But Matthew doesn't portray himself as this deep, philosophical, intellectual, spiritual leader. He's being honest and acknowledging who he is, and that is a tax collector. And obviously, in the context here of this passage, it says, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? Tax collectors and sinners almost being synonymous in the way that it's being phrased here. Basically calling him a scumbag. Saying that tax collectors were, who likes a bill collector? I mean, really, who likes a bill collector? You get phone calls, you're sitting down for dinner, and yeah, we need to know when you're going to make this payment. If we're honest with ourselves, we've all been in a pinch at some time. The economy is not the greatest, so we've all encountered that scenario at some point. Unless you're fortunate and you were blessed, into stockpiling money, whatever, and that's never been a burden. Hey, more power to you. You've been fortunate to not have to suffer. No. But You know, tax collectors, they were basically bill collectors. And what was worse was when you were when you were, it'd be like being a bill collector for your family members. That's the position Matthew was in, because he was a Jew and he was a tax collector for the Roman Empire. And he was collecting money from Jews. So not only was he a bill collector for another company, but he was a bill collector for another company from his own people. So, and then they associated that with the equivalency of being a sinner. Matty didn't hide that. He was open about it, and he said, "This is where I was. This is how people saw me. This is how I saw myself." And then Christ's response was, "I want them like that. I want them where they're at in their life. I want them honest and genuine, acknowledging the sin in their life, and therefore seeing the need for Christ, for Him in their life." And we keep living this facade where I've got it all in check. Everything's good. I'm tip top. I don't need any help. I'm self-sufficient, self-reliant. I can do this on my own, which used to be me. That was my big saying. I'll do this on my own. I'm good. Where's there room for God in that? You become your own God. Lucas, save me. Lucas, that doesn't work at all. I tried it. Doesn't work. But if I'm honest in saying I'm deficient in this area of my life, I lack in this area of my life, that's when God steps in. That's what He did for us. When He interceded by becoming man, sending His Son and interceding on our behalf. That was His whole purpose for coming here. And when we open ourselves up to that and receive the gift that He's given us, His intercession, redeeming us, paying that, there's so many, not just blessings, but that's how it happens. But we first need to acknowledge our need. Hey, I recognize I'm a sinner. I recognize I'm broken in this area of my life. And we've all gone through something. We've all experienced something in our life that has kind of chipped away or chiseled, or had it not happened, we would have gone this road, but it did happen, so we kind of deviated, and then caused some funk, for lack of a better term, has caused some problems in our lives, has caused some static, some serious stress, some strain, some experiences we probably would have liked to have gone without, but it did. And in that brokenness, that's where God says, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work together on that if you'll just be honest and acknowledge that you need me. He steps in there. And that's, again, where Matthew says, you know, the people viewed him as, you said, with tax collectors and sinners. He's like, yeah, that was me. That was me. And I think it's critical that he puts it in here. I mean, it's right after he's healed the paralytic, the two men with demons. I mean, what an odd spot for it to be, like right in between there. There's, you know, two men with demons. He heals the paralytic. Then Matthew's calling. And then, you know, there's a woman who's healed. Then he heals two blind men. Really? Out of all these crazy, crazy things, Matt is right. His call is right in the middle of that, you know. It's just how appropriate, because it's at that level. He's saying, me being called and God stepping in my life and doing this change, and it's like, we're going to work on the inside and go out, because that's where it's going to start, is an inward change, and then it's going to be an outward expression, and the world is going to see my light in you, and it's going to shine when you allow me to go in there and do those things. That's the same as, hey, you're paralyzed. Get up, walk, leave your mat, let's go. Two demons, I got that. Demons, you know who I am. It says even the demons know who he is. And they had to go. Don't jump off a cliff. Don't jump in some crazy pigs and bail off a cliff. And he puts his call in the midst of all. Not that that was right there, but you know, I love when, you know, you read that passage there, and then you look at it chapter, then you look at the book, and then you look at the Bible. They all flow together, and this one is an appropriate place, I believe, in the midst of all that. All these healings, all this craziness with the paralytic and the blind and, you know, the demons. He says, yeah, there was my ruined life, and God stepped in and not only acknowledged me but accepted me, regardless of what the world thought about me, and said, "Okay, now we're going to do this. Here's the call. You answered the call. Let's do this." It's that miraculous. Let me put it that way. It's the same type of miracle as the demons, as the paralysis. So that really spoke to me this morning. Acknowledge my sin every day. Acknowledge my brokenness, my need, my dependency on God. Just putting it on the table for him, saying, "God, yeah, there's still this area. He knows, but there's a willingness." And just a side note, at the beginning of this year, it's March 3rd, 2015. But at the beginning of this year, wasn't really going to share this, but I will. At the beginning of this year, for the third time, I asked God. I was in my prayer, and I was just speaking to the Lord, and I said, "I need to see what your blessing looks like unhindered, with just setting my life apart truly for myself at a new level, saying, I want to consecrate myself to you." It was from the lyrics from a song by Elevation Worship, and it says, "Consecrate yourself to me and you will see amazing things." And that's kind of been my MO. That's been the root of where I'm coming from this year. And it's been difficult, but like, how does that apply? Same thing Matt said. I want to consecrate myself, and if that means we're going to deal with who I am, where I am right now, and move on from there, then okay, let's start with the fact that I'm a tax collector, or I'm an alcoholic, or I'm addicted to pornography, or I struggle with homosexuality, or anger, or lusting, or whatever it is. Can we start right where we're at, right then and there? Can we do that? And I think I know God honors that. He says, "Come, let's reason, let's talk about this. I want you to bring this to me." And it says, if you take one step to him, he'll take two to you. If you abide in me and my word abides in you, then you can ask anything. And what more do we need to know that he's going to respond to us responding, and abundantly more than we could ever imagine. So let's start with that. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to do that in my dailies, not just my devotions, but and really like seeking the Lord out. Saying, "Yeah, Lord, maybe it's my mouth, maybe it's my attitude." Again, I just heard my pastor, Pastor Dina, just gave a word on this, and I left there feeling convicted. Everybody wants to go to church hearing a great, happy sermon. I don't want to leave broken every day, but I want change in my life. I want there to be God moving in my life. I want there to be action, and that one really spoke to me, and I felt convicted. I felt challenged to grow and to move when I left that building. Are we is the church face on in the building, and the second we're leaving, we got a little nastiness as far as our attitudes? I believe so, and that one struck me. And again, that goes back to acknowledging where we're really at in our lives, and being honest about it, and saying, "God, come and move in that." So that's what I wanted to share, and I hope this benefits somebody. So I'm gonna start putting them out there, and we can go from there. So, peace. Hope you dig the background. It's pretty, like I said, the deep jungles of California, Central California. At that, really, that's hilarious. Okay.